Hello. I don't know if anyone's out there at the moment, but I know there will be. Welcome to the first of Coffee Siren Poetry Sundays. Let me just get the banner up. And I'm hoping to get this stuff going. I'm looking at making this a regular thing. Good way to start off the week. At least that's my intention. Making sure I can be heard. I know people will roll around eventually. Okay, and let's see if the bot is awake. Trying that again. Good morning, James. Let's see if that works. I'm hoping that I've got the bot figured out. I don't know if I have. And it's looking like I might not. I know one thing that always works. Apparently I've still got some glitches to work out. No worries. For anyone who's interested, there is a tip jar linked in the description. I don't know if I'd be able to pull that up, but I will do that in a bit. Let's get on with the first poem. Okay. Our first selection, and there will be a few repeats from yesterday's for anyone who saw that. There are some fresh ones as well, but our first selection is a special request from It's Just. I'm sorry if I say the name wrong. It's a special request from a subscriber. Alone by Edgar Allan Poe. From childhood's hour I have not been, as others were, I have not seen. As others saw, I could not bring my passions from a common spring. From the same source I have not taken, my sorrow I could not awaken. My heart to joy at the same tone, and all I've loved alone. Then, in my childhood, in the dawn of a most stormy life, was drawn from every depth of good and ill the mystery which binds me still. From the torrent or the fountain, from the red cliff of the mountain, from the sun that round me rolled in its autumn tint of gold, from the lightning in the sky as it passed me flying by, from the thunder and the storm, and the cloud that took the form, when the rest of heaven was blue, of a demon in my view. Again, that was a special request from a subscriber, and I do hope he watches this eventually. I did want to, was originally thinking of doing this as I did do my previous poems as an individual, or even in a compilation. But my editing program was not being cooperative. And you know what? I grew up, whenever I visited my dad, he would put on CBC radio in the morning every Sunday, and we'd have breakfast and listen to the music that was playing on CBC radio, and eventually the Vinyl Cafe, Tales from the Vinyl Cafe stories. And I guess part of me just wants to bring that kind of stuff back. It was a great way to start the week off. And good morning, Still Wind. A lot of these are gonna, maybe it's, something still lingering in my head. I don't know. A number of these are all along similar lines of dark spaces. A lot of Edgar Allan Poe's stuff is definitely from dark spaces. He's an excellent author, but yeah, not for the faint of heart. That one was a particular favorite of the subscriber, and he wanted to hear me read it. Our next one is one I came across while I was searching around, and a few of these are, again, from dark spaces. These next two are ones of pain and lost love, and I guess part of that kind of spoke to me. A Lesson by Monica Angel Geller. I've learned a lot of lessons in the short time I have lived. I've learned how to appreciate, and I've learned how to give. But in these past few months, there's two I'll remember most. I've learned how to love, and I've learned to let go. You entered my life with such a force, and it left me with one as strong. And though we tried to make it last, we both knew it wouldn't be long. I lie at night and think about how I'm the one to blame. If only I would have trusted you, I could have missed this pain. And so I spend each day of my life with my heart in pieces. When I thought it could never be cured, something happened I expect the least. I guess my soul was all cried out, and it was tired of being used. And even though I know I'm guilty, I was tired of being accused. So I've learned to end this without an urge to cry. These are my final words to you. I love you, and goodbye. Hello, Michael. I'm hoping you're having a good day at work. And I'm hoping, you're at least enjoying this. Yes. I have a few picked out. And again, this one is actually from the same collection that I found the previous one. This is Have You by Hatchem. Have you ever loved someone but knew they didn't care? Have you ever felt like crying but knew you'd get nowhere? Have you ever looked into their eyes and said a little prayer? Have you ever looked into their hearts and wished that you were there? Have you ever felt their heartbeat when lights were turned down low? Have you ever whispered, God, I love you, but you'll never let me show? Love is grand, yet it hurts so much. The price you pay is high. If I could choose between love and death, I'd rather choose to die. So do not fall in love, my friend. It doesn't pay a dime. It only causes broken hearts, yet happens all the time. So do not fall in love, my friend. You'll hurt before it's through. I ought to know, my friend. I fell in love with you. Hello, I am True Skills. Good morning. Yeah. Oh, and same here. That's why a lot of these really jump to me. I have had more than my share of heartbreak and sad stories. Let me just line up the next one. This one is not as dark as the rest. Watching You Walk Away by Jess Norris. I had a difficult time watching you walk away. I wanted to stop you, but I didn't know what to say. I know I make it look easy. I'm really dying inside. I could have told you the truth, but it's always been easier to hide. I'll watch you move on and grow as a person, but know that my feelings for you will continue to worsen. I've never stopped caring because what we had was real. So when I see you with her, I'll forget how I feel. I want you to be happy, and I will try my best. So I will give you a smile while my heart is hurting in my chest. And it wasn't our time, and it may never be. I'll always love you, but I want you to be free. I'll always remember the times we've had. I think about the good and forget about the bad. You are my favorite person, and you always be. As your friend, I'll always be here, whenever you need me. If I ever walked out on a relationship, I have. I have had more than a few walk out on me, being honest. But I have had relationships where I knew it was time to walk. And that's a hard thing, really, really to face. And sometimes I'm not always good at recognizing, being honest. I'm one of those diehard love types. You know, when I'm in, I'm all in. Which is probably why I haven't tried that water in a while. And I read this one last night, or yesterday. But I feel it bears reading again. The Invitation by Oriah Mountain Dreamer. It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for, and if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dream, for the adventure of being alive. It doesn't interest me what planets are squaring your moon. I want to know if you have touched the center of your own sorrow, if you have been opened by life's betrayals, or have become shriveled and closed from fear of further pain. I want to know if you can sit with pain, mine or your own, without moving to hide it or fade it or fix it. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine or your own. If you can dance with wildness and let ecstasy fill you to the tips of your fingers and toes, without cautioning us to be careful, to be realistic, to remember the limitations of being human. It doesn't interest me if the story you are telling me is true. I want to know if you can disappoint another, to be true to yourself, if you can bear the accusation of betrayal and not betray your own soul, if you can be faithless and therefore trustworthy. I want to know if you can see beauty even when it is not pretty, every day, and if you can source your own life from its presence. I want to know if you can live with failure, yours and mine, and still stand at the edge of the lake and shout to the silver of the full moon, yes. It doesn't interest me to know where you live or how much money you have. I want to know if you can get up after a night of grief and despair, weary and bruised to the bone, and do what needs to be done to feed the children. It doesn't interest me who you know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. It doesn't interest me where or with whom you have studied. I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else falls away. I want to know if you can be alone with yourself and truly like the company you keep in the empty moments. Yes, that's always the concern. Oh, that is my last poem. So, unless there are some questions or comments, whatever, from the chat, I will probably wind up wrapping this up. You can find me again on every Monday night. You can find me on Comic Chat's channel. Later today, you will be able to find me on Makani's drawing stream. I'll be giving him a hand with it, reading the chat while he does his drawing. You can also expect more comic characters explained when we're reworking the name. I'm looking at having that out Wednesday. I am going to revise both Raven and Cyborg. I'm not entirely happy with how that was done. I have a few revisions I want to make. Thursdays, as always, is the Queen's Council. You'll have to pay attention on Twitter to see whose channel it'll be on, because at this point we have not discussed that. I don't have any plans for Friday at this point, but always pay attention to my Twitter, because if I find myself in a stream, I'm either tagged or I will post it myself. And of course, Thursday night, 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 Pacific, is Xflix and Chill with Latino Slant. I believe that's everything. Thank you all for listening. Remember, again, to like, share, subscribe, and if anyone does give a donation, I will personally send you a thank you, as it will help me create more content. I'm looking at expanding out my stuff. I'm going to be doing up some crafting stuff. And of course, I want to be able to get a better camera and that kind of stuff so you guys can see me better. Any donations automatically goes right to the chat, right to the channel first. Please. Feel free to link us in the description, as are the names of all of the poems I have read today. And I hope you all have a nice day. Later. Hi, Bruce. Excellent timing. Ciao.